not about basketball. It's not about, it could be about anything in your life, whatever you love to do. If that's something you truly want, then you got to make it happen, and you got to push through adversity, and you got to know that things are going to get better. You got to know that the world's not ending when something doesn't go your way.
Work, it all speaks for itself. Grinding the sound, ain't nothing to tell. When we step on the court, we gon' bring it to light. And we stop and pop like we caught it a light. Stop asking what's wrong with me. You already know there's a dog in me. And there's no stopping my focus, man. Make sure all my people gon' ball with me. Yeah, I came to compete, I'm a dog with it. Yeah, I came to compete with my paws in it.
What's up, CTA family? Welcome back to another episode of the Compete Mentality Podcast. The Compete Mentality Podcast exists to motivate, educate, and inspire you guys to compete. We're here to spread positivity, and I can't wait to dive into today's podcast with my guy, Taylor Persons. Taylor, thanks for joining us today, my man.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to be on here, man. Thank you for asking me to do this.
Man, absolutely, and it's basketball season, and we're going to be having a lot of podcasts with some pretty serious hoopers and coaches here in November and December. And I couldn't wait to kick it off with my guy, TP, and a quick story for us before we hop into this podcast. But Taylor and I, we've been training now for 2 years together and connected at Dizzy Runs Pro-Am. And we had a draft. And I remember being in the room with the owners, and I remember kind of really me, my wife Courtney, were the only, as far as owners of the team, were like the only basketball minded people. The rest were business oriented entrepreneurs or whatever, people that own businesses and stuff that were sponsoring these teams and Dizzy Runs. And I was looking over at Courtney. I'm like, hey, this is our first round pick. I'm like, hey, if TP is available. Telling you, like, he is a dog. And my wife's like, yeah, let's get him. So all that to say, that's where we kind of kicked it off, and had been a huge fan of his game back in high school for the Kokomo Wildcats. When I was at Indiana Wesleyan University, we were begging him to come. He was higher level than us, but his mindset and who he is as a person fit us so well. And that's what I love about TP. He not only plays the game in a way that is going to leave you inspired, but he lives a lifestyle, and his faith is so inspiring to everyone around him as well. So TP, as we dive in, I want to kind of kick it off a little lighter, man. I know you're overseas.
Yeah.
Fill our audience in on where you're at and your favorite chow overseas right now.
Yeah, well, I'm currently in Austria. We have a game tomorrow, away game, but for the whole season I'm in Poland, and a little smaller city, but called Dubrova. So it's been really great for me and my family. And yeah, well, my favorite food, that's a hard question. My wife's cooking is my favorite. I gotta shout out the wifey. You gotta give love to the wife. That's my favorite cooking right now. But there's nothing that beats this. It's a restaurant called Well Done. It's American inspired food. It's got everything. Kind of brings a little taste back to home. And if you've played in this city, you will know what I'm talking about. So it's a good place. American food. I got to get back to my roots a little bit. The style of food. So it brings me some comfort food. So good. It's a good spot.
I like it. What are you ordering, man?
I got a steak there. I got to get a little healthy steak in me. And then it depends on the day, just whatever. I try to mix it up, get some new stuff, try new things on the menu, but usually get a steak, get some, veggies, some sweet potato fries, simple,
I like it. Can't go from there.
Yeah.
TP, kind of, as I mentioned earlier, been a fan of your game when you were back in high school as a college basketball coach. Now, being able to train you, I'm even more of a fan, just the way you approach the game and with the mentality that you do. I want to take you back to your roots, back in Kokomo. Uh,
Yes, sir.
the Bible talks about having childlike faith, and you and I talk about all the time about mindset and dreaming big, and you got to have that childlike faith. Like, give our listeners just the take us back to when you fell in love with the game and
Mhm.
when you really started dreaming big. When and where was that?
Honestly, it started really young with me because I played every sport growing up. So I was playing baseball, basketball, football. And at a very young age, I think I kind of knew that I wanted to be a professional athlete. At that point, I was, young kid dreams. I was like, I'm gonna play in the NFL, the MLB, the NBA. I want to do all of it. And that was like, my first real, love with being a professional athlete, and like I can really do this in my life. So, I would say probably when I was sixth grade. I mean, not sixth grade, 6 years old, playing pitching machine baseball with my dad, and like getting that first competitive, feeling of winning championship. Just that I fell in love with being, competitive really at first. So I would say really young, probably six.
I love to hear that, and I also love that you played a lot of sports. My wife and I
Absolutely.
are big in especially youth, like multi-sport athletes, and developing that competitive mindset at an early age, and just winning and teamwork and discipline, all the things that sports teaches you at an early age, and also
Absolutely.
you don't get burned out. Um,
Yeah.
and Zion Williamson and his knee injuries, being a
Yeah.
focused hooper for so long. Like, tell me when did you focus specifically on basketball and quit playing other sports?
Honestly, it took an injury to end my football career. I played till I was a senior, and high school. It was my second game. My senior year, I fourth and goal. Had to make a play, try to run. Guy went low, blew out my whole knee. So that was honestly the first time I stopped playing another sport and then focused, all on basketball. And I was lucky enough to already have my scholarship to Northern Kentucky. My coaches backed me up when I had to go through surgery and let me play football. And it was a good experience. But that was the last time. I didn't start really focusing solely on basketball till I got hurt my senior year in high school. Yeah,
I
that's crazy to think about. That's crazy to think
It
about,
is
though.
crazy to think about as successful as you were in high school and as successful as you are now professionally. But would you say like that attributes to kind of like um, just the juice that you got? You're not burned out when you go to college. You got that love for the game. Would you say that?
Yeah, I would say that. It's a good point that you make. Not being burned out with one sport and being tired of playing. A lot of these guys are playing 60, 70, 80 games in this, summer, then only playing basketball workouts. So it does get a lot on your mental. For me, I didn't have that. I obviously focused, but truth be told, I was more focused on basketball. Even in football season, going to the Y after practice when I feel, able. I'm going to these elite camps. So, I had the love for basketball at a young age, and that showed me like really hard work, really you can get it done even if you don't have no time on your hands. So, but it definitely helped me not being burnt out because now I feel love just training and getting better. The summers is like my favorite time. I get to, really push my limits. And I think if I was so burnt out at that at a young age, maybe I wouldn't have taken it as seriously now. But I love the game, so who knows? Probably still would love it.
I love that, man. And I want to kind of dive deeper into your recruiting process. Tell us about AAU.
Absolutely.
I remember watching you for your AAU team and recruiting
Yeah.
you. And tell us about your AAU experience and then how your recruiting process went.
Yeah, that's a good question because honestly, I'll be honest. I thought I was severely under recruited. Honestly, I felt disrespected every time that I didn't, get the recognition I felt I deserved. I got one scholarship offer to D1 school. I signed early, committed early in the process. I could have waited and got probably a lot, more offers or whatever. But my first D1 offer was to Northern Kentucky, and I'm a loyal guy. I show love. I felt really the message they were sending to me. I was a priority. They wanted me to be, the main. Well, it wasn't really about role for me, but they was giving me an opportunity to be myself within the team, and I took it. And it honestly something looking back. I think a lot of people would say that I was definitely under recruited because a lot of people didn't think the way I play was going to transition into me being able to do how I play in college and now professionally. It's just I've kept getting better, but being a not as athletic, quick, super speed point guard that uses muscle and all this stuff. I remember Matt Painter telling me that he didn't think that that's why I wasn't recruited as hard coming out. Because obviously when I transferred, they just tried to recruit me. That's a whole different crazy wild story as well. But
That story.
so those are kind of yeah. Those are kind of the things that I would say drove me, to become who I am today. And I kind of used to get caught up in that a lot though, where I was always constantly worried about, oh, I killed this guy. He's got a better offer than me. I've proven myself. And honestly, I know it drove me a lot, but now looking back, it's like, you know what? Um, I put a lot of emphasis on stuff I couldn't control instead of just really focusing on the things that I could, dictate. Just being hard work, and it's gonna work out like it did for me. Everything in my life, and that's why I'm so close with God is because everything in my life happened for a reason. I went to Northern Kentucky. I ended up having to transfer from there. My coach got fired. Met James Whitford. I was maybe going to go to Purdue. All this thing. I met Coach Whitford. He changed my life. He really made me want to become a pro, and I give him a lot of credit and showed me what I needed to do. So I know I ran on a little rant there. I'm sorry, but that's
No,
really how it
I
started.
love that, and I love the point you made that hindsight being 2020, you can look back and see how everything worked out. But like while you're in it, like it can be tough to trust in.
Absolutely, 100%.
So I kind of want to go that direction. Like looking back now,
Yeah.
where you were, you know, talk to us about a time that was really tough, where you weren't sure if it was going to work out, but you put your trust in the Lord. And now looking back, hindsight, you're really grateful for the adversity that you went through.
I'll do it more closer. For me, it was a couple years ago. It was my second year pro. No, third year. It's gonna be going into my third year professional year. So 2 years ago, and I remember, talking to my wife and being upset, like, why is this happening to me? Like, I work harder than a lot of people. I played well. Why is this? I'm not getting this opportunity. How do I not have a job yet? Worried about stuff. I have a new baby. I need to take care of my son. A lot of mental going on at that point. A lot of adversity striking at once. So I will never forget this. This is like a big testimony of my life and my faith. I remember, like, not crying, being just upset, talking to my wife, like, hey, what's going on? Like, why is God doing this to me? I literally remember saying that. Well, why is this happening? Because I was trying to be patient, and I was, I was really believing because I believe, I really do, and I try not to question certain situations and all that. I'll never forget that next day I got a contract to a team of Hungary, and it ended up being my best professional year and really gave me my confidence back of who I was and what kind of player I was. And it just showed me, like, I had that moment in the next within 12 hours probably I got this all, and it's like, wow, God was already working. This was going to happen. This perfect situation was coming. This is what I was waiting for, and this is what he wanted from me. And it goes back to last year, same situation. Kind of, I dealt with some things going on in France, got injured, business side of sports, and it's like, what's going on again? Like, I got to go this, and I looked back to the old, my previous thing, and it was just like, I'm just gonna wait, and whatever happens is just gonna happen. I'm gonna run with it. End up going to Poland, having a great end of the year, perfect. I had a great time with my family, and it's just like, wow, Like God is always working in ways I can't even see or thinking like, oh, this is like, what am I doing? It's wild, and those are big, testimony of like my faith with God now. So
One of my favorite verses is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, which says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. That's such a great story of that verse. TP, I have absolutely loved training you, and just the mindset that you attack each workout. Iron sharpens iron. I'm not sure who leaves better each time that we train together, me or you, just by the way you push me. But I'm curious about I want to talk about your habits, your mind, body, spirit habits. Give our audience just kind of like an inside look at your life here as a professional. Like, what do you do on a daily basis to take care of your mind, body, spirit?
I would say honestly, I get a little time to myself, and like I need to reflect on what I need to, you know, I do a lot of self-reflecting on what has happened in the day or what, certain things that's going on with me. Um, with that being, my personal life or on the court. But, I say I take some time and just meditate and speak, to God and then speak to myself and really figure out what is, going on with me.
I love that. TP, now I want to talk a little bit about your training routine. We got a lot of hoopers listening to
Yeah.
this podcast each and every week. We got a lot of hoopers that aspire to be where you're at, to be a professional basketball player. Just give them an inside look of like a day in the life or a week in the life of Taylor Persons, of what you do on a daily, weekly basis to be ready to compete against the best in the world.
Yeah. Well, I first of all wake up early every day. I get a workout in as early as I can because I need to with my son and being able to spend time with my family and stuff like that. But so I probably go eight to nine, do a skill workout, rest, go see my family, go get in the weight room, and then try to get shots later. Just do that every day. And then just play when I can, open gyms with these guys. We play in the Lions Den. AO sets it up, great players, or, the Dizzy runs or the City League. I try to play in as much competitive stuff as I can play so that, I believe in really competing against players, working on certain stuff that you're training on against live competition. That's why I enjoy when we train together, you putting, bodies, on people, you're putting hands up because that's realistic. You're not going to be able to play in a real game and shoot, if you're lucky enough to shoot uncontested shots or get to your spot. But that's something that I highly believe in. And it's, that's part of my training every summer that I think I play a lot. And, the downside, maybe my body, sometimes I overdo it, but I mean, it is what it is. That's what I got to push myself to go through. But I also take care of my body. That's a big thing that I've learned as the older I get, especially now. I get in the hot tub, get in the sauna, getting these massage and stretching out, getting in the pool, just stuff that I think is helping me. And, it really makes the difference when you get older, especially now I'm 28. I feel like I'm not that old, but I'm getting older. I got to understand to make my career longer. I got to, take the steps to do so.
Oh, I love that answer. I recently got an Edge Theory cold plunge. You
Yeah, I love that. That's something I want. That's like my dream. Like I've been trying. I want to do it. Want to have it. So yeah.
yeah. I was wondering if you were knocking out those ice baths yet, baby.
No, I'm not ready. I haven't got it done yet. I need to.
I feel you. I feel you, man. TP, kind of give us a snapshot of your team right now and where you're at in your season, and just a 10,000-foot view of what's going on with you and your team.
Well, we got a really good team. We started out 5-2 in our domestic league, and we got in our other league we're 1-1, which is like European competition. Which we had a tough loss, but it's a great team, man. I would say if anybody had a chance to watch us play, our style of play is fast paced, shoot a lot of threes, pick and roll, let me, create, play these, it's really been a fun, game of basketball, and our team is doing well. Got a lot of, really good players on our team and great coaches. I love the coaches that we have and just learning. And we're putting this style of play that, we're averaging like 100 points right now scoring. In Europe, it's hard to do. So it's been fun bringing a little style of play that our coach wants us to, play and actually being able to implement it every game. So it's been fun, man. It's been a blast, and it's been a year that honestly still early. We have a chance to be good, but we got to, how it is with basketball. You gotta take it day by day, and that's just everything in life. You can't focus on the future. You got to focus on the practice. You got to focus on the next day. You can't focus on 10, 3, 4 weeks from now. So, and that's something that we talk about as a team, and so it's been good, man. It's been great, and I'm happy. So that's a good point.
I love to hear that, TP. We got a lot of hoopers that train that, like I said, want to
Yeah.
be where you're at. Just kind of what I'm curious, tell them, because people don't know what it takes to play overseas. Like
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
it's not.
Just so you know.
I had an offer to go play in Ireland out of college.
Yeah,
I did not take it. It was not something that like I said, it's not for everybody. I took the coaching
yeah,
route. I took the coaching route, and it worked out. But my point is, like, just paint a picture of kind of like the grind or some of the stuff people see, the glitz and the glam and the Instagram pictures of guys hooping overseas, but like tell them what you go through.
yeah. It's a grind, man, and it's something that, like you said, it's not for everybody. I owe a lot of credit for people that can go over here and change everything that for basketball. Like, and it's a different. They communicate different language. They play a different style of play. It goes into a lot. So you know, the people that can make to me, it's a marathon over here. A lot of people that play a long time in career, they they build their steps in their career. They go here, they go here. They just keep building. You look up, and you're a vet, and you're having good jobs. You're successful, and so I just think some people think that you're gonna go over here too and just dominate. Like, oh, I'm an American. I'm coming to Europe. Like, oh, this is my time. It's not like that. And a lot of people that come over there with that mindset, well, it's good to be confident. I'll probably be one of the most confident people, ever. But you got to understand that these people, they love basketball too, and the game is growing. That's the thing I can tell people too. These dudes are working just as hard. Kids are going training now, so it's like the gap that people talk about is, it's still USA is the best, but it's closing. A lot of people that's been over here for some years, they will be able to tell and see that. And you can see that with the NBA today, with all the, European and foreign players in the league. So, but it takes a lot of it takes a lot of being dedicated to this in basketball, and know that a lot of places over here, it really is a business. So you don't look, it's not just the game, and sometimes it makes it, feel like a job to you, not just the game that you love. And you got to be prepared for those hard times, and stick through it, because you're going to go through it. The best players went through a situation that didn't work out. You didn't see eye to eye with your coach. They wanted you to be something different. The GM, it's a lot. So you got to push through and be consistent. And that's probably the best thing, is just be consistent, be yourself, and, be yourself within what the team needs you to do, so find your role and find your, what you do well in overseas, and just keep going. That's the thing that I learned. So it takes a lot though, and I'm lucky. I have my wife and my son, so I have my family, my close knit. This is my everything right here. I love my family back home and her family. So it sucks to be away from them, but I'm blessed that I have a wife that is willing to be over here with my son. So that's my whole life, and basketball is my life, and that's what I tell a lot of kids is like this stuff in the summer. If you really want to be this, I live and breathe it. I watch basketball. I study basketball. When I'm not playing basketball, I'm on YouTube. I'm watching highlights of this game, this guy, this everything, and that's what you got to do to take your game to the next level. And fight for that 1%. To get better.
I love that. So many takeaways out of that answer to that question. And I love almost, and I've been around your work ethic. I've been around you, been around your energy, and like whether it's hoops, and we got a lot of people listening to this podcast that aren't hoopers
Yeah,
that are in any industry. It's that type of like mentality that you take to hoops that you got to take to your craft, because
absolutely.
when you're successful in your craft, that's when you're able to shine your light, and that's what you
Hmm.
do, and that's what like kind of like I said, I've noticed you before training you, and we have a personal relationship now. Before that, I was just attracted to the way you played. I'm like, dude, this dude, I like his game.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
like the way he plays. He plays it the right way. I love his mentality. And that's what I want to encourage all you listeners right now. Like, whatever your craft is, are
Right.
you doing it in a way that shines a light? Are you doing it in a way that, and what I mean by shine a light, does it encourage others? Does it inspire others? That's what I said at the beginning of this podcast, that competing is doing what God calls you to do, even when it's hard. Like TP just talked about,
Absolutely.
it's not, he's going through, it's not all sunshine and rainbows playing professional basketball.
Hmm. No, it's
It
not.
ain't. So I want to close with that, TPI. I know you got a game tomorrow, and it's important to get
Yeah,
sleep. But I
all
want to
good, man.
the last question for you.
Yes, sir.
Fire our audience. Tell us about a time overseas that in your professional career that you've been through some adversity, and what's the lesson you took away from it?
Hmm. It's a good question. I have a couple um that really changed, like it made me I wasn't questioning myself like I can't hoop, but it's like, man, is this really what I want to do? Do I want to go through this? Had a situation, my second year, things didn't work out, coach. It was COVID, it was depressing. I end up I end up you know having to miss my son's birth. My When I was in Poland 1 year, and um, that really hurt my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't get to be at home for my for my wife and my son, and I was going through a situation. I missed my grandfather, passing away. I got to be back for him passing away, but I missed all the time when he was okay, and that was for basketball. A lot of people don't know that I wasn't there and how close I was with him, and then I ended up missing my son's birthday. It was like, am I doing? And I was going through a tough time, on the court. I was playing okay. Our team was okay, um, but I was really in a point where, like, man, like, was this worth it? To miss all these things. Something sometimes do I regret it? Not being there for my grandfather and stuff, but I look at him and I know he'd want for me and what he, so it gives me peace, but I had that moment, man. And what I learned from that is, I really love this game. I really, I'm passionate and it, like you said, and it doesn't matter. It's not about basketball. It's not about, it could be about anything in your life, whatever you love to do. It if that's something you truly want, then you got to make it happen, and you got to push through adversity, and you got to know that things are going to get better. You got to know that the world's not ending when something doesn't go your way. You can't feel sorry for yourself. You can't. And sometimes I had to look myself in the mirror and it's like, could I have been a better player? Could I, maybe coach isn't, playing me, doesn't trust me. Could I still play better? Yeah, I could have. I let all the distractions and all this stuff dictate my mind and confidence and all that stuff. But the one thing I would say through all that adversity, it just you got to stay true to yourself and you got to believe in yourself. And that's why I always, believe is one of my favorite just words. It's simple. Just believe. And that's whether you believe in anything, it's faith. Like you have to believe in yourself to accomplish the goals that you want to do in your life. And if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you either. It's a chain reaction. God is always going to believe in you. I'll take that back. But to have other people and whatever you want to do to be successful, you have to believe in yourself. And I that's what I take out of all the trials and tribulations overseas. and that goes from I don't want to get into too much detail because I don't like to be negative about certain, maybe not seeing eye to eye with coaches or had a different fit or a different vision, for me or the team, and trying to be as positive as you can be, but always getting tore down. Um, those are some of the things that I had to go through, but I had to learn, and I had to go through these things to see, how I think God was testing me to see how much I really wanted this and how bad do I want to be successful and make this dream my reality for the rest of my life, as long as I can do it.
Absolutely, TP.
Yeah.
That's a unbelievable answer to that, and inspiring to anybody in any walk of life. And that's where I want to leave you today on this podcast, y'all. That we can take away from Taylor Persons is to keep going, keep fighting, and wherever you're at, keep competing. And Taylor, I really appreciate the time that
Thanks,
you've
man.
given me here today. You're my brother, and I love you and your
Always.
family.
Love you
And
too, man.
I can't wait for you to come back and we get back in the barn and we get grinding again.
Absolutely.
And to give our audience your Instagram handle for them to go follow you.
My Instagram is, I think, just at Taylor Persons, Tayler. People mess up the ER, so put a little O in there, Persons. So just follow me. I'll follow back. Show me some love.
I
Show
love
my guy some love.
I love it. TP, thank you so much. I can't wait to go back and re-listen to this and get my journal out and get my takeaways,
Yeah.
man. So give the fam a big hug from the Delks. And
Thank you.
thanks
I
for
will.
joining us on the podcast today, brother.
Hey, thank you, man. I just want to say thank you for everything you do for people, and the positivity you bring is evident every time you speak with somebody, and that light you talk about that I give you, or now that energy you give it back to everyone. So I really appreciate that, and I'm sorry that this Wi-Fi has been bad and stuff. We got the hotel Wi-Fi. It's that Europe life, but I hope it was good for you, and I love you, brother, and the family. So thank you.
It made it real. Iron sharpens iron. And CTA
Absolutely.
family, always remember that competing is doing what God calls you to do, even
Absolutely.
when it's hard.